Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan, and if you're watching our show, you've probably known your boy has undergone a little bit of a body transformation, and I gotta tell you, Peloton has helped me on my fitness journey. It got the ball rolling for me because I watch my wife on the Peloton. She takes all these great classes. She has her favorite instructors. I listen to the music. I'm a big music guy. It gets me fired up, makes me want to take part in this fitness phenomenon known as Peloton. Peloton offers a variety of challenging classes, from 4-week strength building classes to running, cycling, and everything in between. Peloton will help you achieve your goals, and maybe you'll have some fun along the way. I know I have. It's backed by thousands of members whose lives have been changed. Be part of that group. Telling you, I'm better for it. Have it in my office. Sometimes I can put on the baseball game. Sometimes I can put on a soccer match. Some other times I'm totally locked in on an emo playlist. Find your push. Find your power with Peloton at onepeloton.com. Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo. Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
Shadowing it.
Chris, I'm worried about today's show. Stugotz is hopped up on meds.
Oh, am I?
He's got a bad toothache.
Oh.
His face is not quite swollen, but he's been just like massaging the side of his face pretty continually, and him on drugs, more drugs than usual.
Right.
No bueno.
Or bueno, you never know.
Well, bueno for you, not
muy bueno.
not muy bueno for the rest of us. I'm also torn because I was very excited about talking about the disaster that Friday was for Meadowlark Media and myself. But so much happens that by the time we get in here, and Zaz is in here now, the Heat are now coming off of a 21-point loss. And so instead of celebrating, hooray, the Heat are in the playoffs, they saved the season, we have old, damp, limp Zaz in here, not filled with fire.
Hey, we can celebrate that. It's Pearl Jam week. I mean, I'm feeling great today.
And draft week. I mean,
come on.
What's going on with you in draft week? Are you?
My tooth hurts.
Okay, so he's going to be out with a toothache. You're supposed to be in Tennessee for the draft.
Calling people soft. Yep.
Okay, calling people soft, and you might be out with a toothache. Those were bad games. Those were bad games over the weekend.
All of them?
I mean,
Come on, Dan.
except for Clippers Nuggets.
The Clippers.
Warriors Rockets was good too. Good game.
Was it?
Yeah. Heat Cavs.
Yeah, what are you nodding about, Zaz? Those were not good games.
Rockets Warriors.
Fun game.
Is my kind of basketball.
Yeah.
Take me back to 1997. That's my kind of game. I loved it.
You love defensive games.
Love a good
Who doesn't?
defensive battle.
Thank you.
Love it.
Zaz loves 6-3 football games.
Love the SEC. I love a knockdown, drag-out NBA playoff game. I don't need the games in the 70s, all right? But every now and then, give me a game in the low 90s. I love it.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Let's talk about this for a second, because that Golden State Rockets game is not the basketball I want to see. I don't want games in the 80s and 90s. I know you guys are all staring at me because you want to talk about the stardom of Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. However, Van Vliet and Green going 7 for 34 for 2 free throws. Get out of here, Rockets. Go now. Take your entire season and get out of here. All of you can just go. We all know that's what you're going to be. You're not going to beat the best teams in this conference. Thank you for trying the entire regular season. But Van Vliet and Green, 7 for 34, 2 free throws between them. And also, Jimmy Butler, 5 steals.
Yeah.
5 steals.
That's why the Warriors were minus 190 headed into that series. I mean, I was asking Amin about it last week, but we found out after a game why they were the favorites and heavy favorites.
You like that? So Draymond Green's talking after the game. I wonder how Heat fans feel about all this, because Draymond Green's talking after the game. That's championship pedigree, saying, yeah, Jimmy calms us down. We got to get Jimmy the ball more late. Everything slows down. Jimmy scores 6 of his points in the last minute 40. It is crazy to me to watch that team in game 1 of its playoffs defer to Jimmy Butler on, yeah, he calms us.
I mean, he's not that team needs it, but he's kind of the adult in the room. Like, they know, hey, this guy right here is super comfortable. He's super serious. And I'll tell you, there were moments in that game I was like, I miss that. I remember that. I remember being comfortable when that guy had the ball.
I don't understand how it is that we've spent 2 seasons talking about Kuminga over there, and then they trade for Jimmy Butler, and Kuminga's a great asset, and he's top shelf, and we got to get him playing minutes, and never mind.
Funny thing is, he played really well against the Rockets this season. He averaged like 23, 24 a game against the Rockets, but he's just fallen out of the rotation completely. I was talking to Amin last week, and I was like, why is it that Kuminga just all of a sudden, who was such a good piece, is now gone out of the rotation? He's not playing. He's like, he's not plus at anything that he can do with Draymond and Jimmy on the floor. It's just he's an extra piece that fits the same hole that they play already.
And he's a free agent. He's got to be so
restricted,
mad.
though. Restricted, so
all
it's
right.
tough.
He's got to be so mad, though. He's the DMP. He's going to be a free agent.
That's the thing with Kuminga and Jimmy, though. That's the difference, is Jimmy does everything well. He complements both Draymond and Steph in the way that he plays his game, because he can allow Draymond to do different things defensively, Steph to do different things offensively, and then you can run everything through him, and he's a calming presence, where Kuminga and his inexperience is part of the problem. So when you switch those two things, that's why the Warriors are willing to defer. They're always used to having another guy there who's an adult in the room with them. It just happens to be a guy in Jimmy who's one of the best postseason players around.
I'm going to do this again. A ton of bad games.
Bad games, what you gonna do when Dan Batard judges you? Tell me, what you gonna do? Hey, bad games, what you gonna do? When Dan judges you?
Stugotz, when Jimmy Butler goes 25-5-5-5 with the 5 steals.
Yep.
Did anyone else in that game have 4 steals? Did anyone 5 steals in a playoff game where the possessions are mattering, and in that playoff game, one of the few that is in the 80s and 90s, to find yourself watching a basketball game and Jimmy Butler is one of 3 players ever to have high-end numbers in playoff games. They're 25-5-5-5. The 5 steals as well. The other 2 are Jordan and Westbrook. For him at the end of that game to be in a locker room where Draymond Green is saying out loud, we need to get him the ball more on a team with Steph Curry.
Well, of course.
Well, but what do you mean, of course?
I mean, you got Jimmy Butler to give him the ball and give him the ball often. That's why you went out and got Jimmy Butler.
But you say, of course, the team has Steph Curry on it. To hear in a locker room afterward, the least calm player in the league saying of Jimmy Butler when he's played with plenty of calm. Saying that guy calms us because he slows everything down. He's going to get free throws. And he's in a game. Again, I'm going to say it. Van Vliet and Green, 7 for 34, 2 free throws between them. You cannot beat a champion that way.
But I think when Draymond says that Jimmy calms us, it's just having that second guy. Without Jimmy Butler, that team has no shot of winning an NBA title. with Jimmy Butler, that team is now more constructed the way it used to be. Although Jimmy is a very different player than Klay Thompson, they have a second scoring option on that team, and it's Jimmy Butler.
See, that's
and
what
that
I
brings
think
the
it is.
team comfort.
That's what I think. I think it's not Draymond saying if we want to win, Jimmy has to have the ball. No, it's we need somebody other than Steph to have the. Like, it's not going to be Pajimski. It's not going to be Moses Moody.
It's not going to be me.
It can't. It's not going to be me. It can't be all Steph. Give Jimmy the basket. I think that's what it's about.
A couple of things that of course that's what it's about, but it's still there. Like, I understand. It's not, I'm not confused. I'm not confused.
I thought you sounded confused.
No,
you didn't know if Jimmy Butler's any good.
Yes, very confused. Yes.
He's good.
Yeah. I mean, you asked us.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate. Yes,
we're here for you. It's Monday.
I appreciate that he's good.
Tooth is killing me.
Well, let's talk about this for a second, because I've given you guys the stat before, which is an insanity. Jimmy Butler, 0 40-point games in his regular season career, 8 40-point games in the playoffs. To have the first game play out that way, because we're sitting here really, you guys understand, all of us do, what we're betting on. How many injections, how many knee things is he going to have to overcome? Because it always looks this way. Game 1, when he's fresh and rested and 35 and 5 steals. Then you start fast forwarding mileage on the body, what this stuff takes out of the body, and you're waiting for a breakdown. The bet between the Heat and the Warriors on Jimmy is, no, he ain't going to make it to the end of that. You know he's not going to make it to the end of that. And the bet the Warriors are making is like, just give us 7 or 8. Steph will take us the rest of the way. Just get us halfway there. And it's such an interesting bet on like how a window closes quickly, because everybody's like, oh my God, by 50 they took out Memphis. They took out Memphis by 50. Like, that team's here. That team can only be beaten right now by what you got Clippers, what you got Warriors, what you got old guys Lakers. It ain't going to get beaten by Houston.
Houston's done. Houston's done already.
You guys are done with the Rockets?
No. I'm going to blame Izzy Gutierrez.
Too high on that.
Because last week on Friday, he sang the praises of the Rockets. They're the great. Oh my God, they're going to sweep the Warriors. They're incredible. He's like, Jalen Green's going to come out. He's like, Fred VanVleet's going to be amazing. And it's like 7 for 34, 2 free throws, like you said.
Playoffs are
terrible.
different, man.
Oh, the Rockets, they're so tough. Like, that was their whole deal. They're the tough guys. You'll win your tough guy games in the regular season. Everybody's tough in the playoffs. Nobody cares you're tough.
It feels a little bit Houston like Oklahoma City last year, just a year too early, overachieving
no
to be
SGA,
that
though.
good. No, and that's the difference between Houston and Oklahoma City moving forward.
The MVP?
They have, but they have all of these incredible complementary pieces that are young. They have Şengün, who's a great guy to build around, but the question would become, if they end up going out in the first round to a veteran-laden Warriors, how do you handle the stockpile picks and all of these great young players? This experience is huge. Game 2 is a giant game for the future of their franchise, not just this season, but moving forward.
I mean, Udoka, I'm tough.
I thought you liked toughness.
No, he's done. Zaz, nobody cares that you're tough. You spit that. You are very.
Yeah. What? Playoff teams aren't tough? You're not playing the Hornets, all right? You're not playing the Wizards. It's the playoffs. Tough.
He's right. It's the playoffs.
He's right about everything that he says there. But the thing that I want to get to as it relates to the Rockets and the Warriors, because I think that the 2 games from the weekend, Clippers Nuggets, is going to be fantastic. It really is. And I heard one of you guys say in the middle of that, best player in the league, and it made me laugh seeing James Harden interviewed. And James Harden tells Rachel Nichols, yeah, we're all rooting for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to win the MVP award. He should win it because of the season he had and the winning. But Jokic is the best player, obviously, and of course, like...
And he's had the better season,
but the stupidity of that, like just the sheer stupidity of like, yeah, Shai, give it to him because, yeah, we... But yes, of course, Jokic is the best player in the world. Yes, but not even he hit the of course. It wasn't even like this is my opinion. He was just saying, no, this is a matter of fact. We've all discussed it. The rest of us are over here, and Jokic is the best player in the world.
Players in today's NBA constantly complain, right, about the analysis. They don't like the analysis on television these days. And James Harden's getting in front of a camera telling you, we know that guy is better, but we want him to win.
I mean, that's what happened with LeBron, right? LeBron was the best player on the planet, but we're going to give it to Derrick Rose anyway.
That's what's going to happen this
year.
For
sure.
And it's only so that Jokic, 5 years from now, we don't have to put him ahead of Jordan. Like,
who was doing that?
No,
I mean, let's be honest.
Right, okay.
Right.
As an offensive player, I'd be willing to do it right now.
No, you would.
I would be. As an offensive player, I right now would be willing to say that Jokic is a better, more efficient offensive player than Michael Jordan.
My son just blurted out to me a couple days ago, is Jokic the best center in the history of the NBA already?
Yes.
And I thought about it for a second. I wanted to say I don't know.
He's not. I mean, that's the answer. You know, Kareem, Russell,
no,
Wilts.
That's Allen Iverson. You're doing something here, as I understand. We're never going to actually give this to him. We're not. There's no circumstance under which America's going to be good with. Yeah, Jokic was the best at that ever. Like there's nothing. He can win the next 10. We won't do it.
I didn't know what to say to my son.
You say no. I mean,
yeah. Well, that's the easier way to do it.
Yeah, or I could try and tell the truth.
Well, no, you're lying.
No, but that's the thing. See, it's better. It is much better to do it Toothache's way. If you do it his way, if you just teach your children, no, you don't explain anything, they don't learn anything, they go through life dumb. If you try to explain nuance to them, you're going to end up making the argument that Jokic is better than Michael Jordan offensively, and you're going to sound like an idiot.
Stugotz, how you feel about nuance?
What is nuance?
Hey guys, it's Lucy, and I'm about to tell you about the most incredible, unforgettable gift you can get mom this Mother's Day. Have you ever heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site that I order from all the time, where you can get the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants all across the U.S., and they will ship it anywhere across the country for free in time for Mother's Day. Goldbelly will ship gift-worthy cakes from Ina Garten and Martha Stewart, Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding, New York bagel brunch directly from the city, or even authentic Chicago deep dish pizza. So whether your mom would love something sweet from one of the country's best bakeries or meals from world-famous chefs, Goldbelly has you covered. It's a super simple process, and the packaging is so cute that I used it for my scrapbook. So, if you are looking to make Mother's Day perfect or want to impress your friends and family with an epic meal next time you host, go to goldbelly.com and get free shipping and 20% off your first order with promo code GBF. That's goldbelly.com, code GBF for free shipping and 20% off your first order.
Folks, the time has come to get some new golf clubs, and that means one thing: heading over to my local PXG store for a fitting. They make the best golf clubs. I'm telling you guys, I went there, in and out, efficient, the nicest staff. If you need to improve your golf game, if you want to scratch strokes off your score, go to PXG, get a fitting. Instantly, the irons fit so perfectly. You get fitted. It's quick. As soon as I got home with my clubs, I go to the range. I'm telling you, I gave away my old clubs. PXG is where it's at, guys. If you need to change your golf game, the fastest way to improve your performance on the golf course is PXG Fitting. The PXG fitters are highly trained, incredibly experienced, and have a deep understanding of how to optimize your clubs to get the most out of your swing. Their fittings, they're educational, they're fun. Schedule your fitting today, and for a limited time, you can save up to 20% off your entire order. Head to pxg.com/Dan. That's pxg.com/Dan to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/Dan. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Game Time is the official ticketing partner of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. I am Mike Ryan, and as you know, on this show, I am often touting Game Time because I believe in this product. And as a play-in tournament begins this week, why don't you head on over to Game Time? As a Miami Heat fan, I've got plenty of great experiences with that play-in tournament. A lot of good runs started in this play-in tournament. Might be a little frustrated that they're always in the play-in tournament, but that's a story for another day. The good news is Game Time makes getting tickets to that play-in tournament faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app may actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. And don't forget about that all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front, with no surprise fees at checkout. And Game Time's got its unparalleled ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Dan Le Batard.
Lightning, Panthers. What do you think?
Stugotz.
Look at this face while I tell this to you. Okay, because I don't want there to be any kind of confusion. You look me right in the eye. Panthers are going to take that ass, man.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Zaslow, I want to get back to what happened Friday night.
What a night! Oh, man! God, let's go. What do you think Pearl Jam's going to open with on Thursday?
Oh, wow.
Zaslow is going to be working for money around here throughout the hockey playoffs. That's a big, giant win for Zaslow.
For no money.
No, he won the bet.
I got everything.
Oh, wow. You got the money and you got the tickets. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he won the bet. So he gets a microphone, he gets money.
And my wife is happy.
He gets tickets.
Wow.
He gets a happy wife.
Big day.
So Friday was a logistical disaster, okay, for a number of different reasons. First off, and I didn't know any of this, evidently, when we go live at night off of something, the sponsorship on this and the evening costs a great deal of money. Like to just get up and live, it's something that DraftKings does a very good job of selling. So I had to find a sponsor while we're sort of trying to navigate the logistical minefield of, can a corporation in 2025 make Zaslow an indentured servant publicly, where he is basically someone who has to work for me for no money and evidently no labor laws? Can we do that live? So it was a little bit dangerous. And I had to go, Stugotz, and do something I obviously never thought I would have to do, and certainly something that Miles over at the restaurant Prime 112 wasn't looking to do, which is I had to secure a sponsorship in like 45 minutes, and they're expensive. And so Prime 112 decided that they were going to sponsor what it is that we were doing because they wanted to back the Heat and they wanted to back Zaslow's bet. And this is a restaurant that's been a giant in this town for a long time, but they've never done a sponsorship. They don't need to do that. It's the best restaurant we've got down here. And so they threw their whole backing behind big stakes. And I'm running late to get back there because I've got a car full of steaks that have been cooked for presentation.
He had so much meat.
I mean, what a car full of steaks.
Where'd you get the Anaconda Glizzy, by the way? What was up with that? You put that in your car?
This was an unusual amount of food to have in the car. Excellent food meant for presentation, but also there was a steak in there that's like $700. Like there's some ridiculous steak. And so I make it to the finish line barely to get live on air with Samson mad at us and saying not to do it. And then Meadowlark loses in every way and Zaz wins in every way in overtime. Buddy was shitting himself.
Oh, I was so nervous, but I love the adrenaline. I love the agita it gives me. It's my drug. I'm a drug addict in that moment. I love it. It's the best kind of high for me when I'm nervous like that with either the Heat or the Panthers. And you got to see it on full display, which I wasn't terribly comfortable with in the moment because I don't think I've ever done that where everybody could see me living it. I came close a couple times to throwing the remote control through the television. But, listen, do you think Pearl Jam plays for 2.5 hours or for 3 on Thursday? It's going to be so great.
Shame on you guys, by the way. Amin El-Hassan was here in Miami, got on a flight, flew 6 hours, and then you guys sent them the link to do more show when he got home?
Yeah. And that's what we were going to do to Zaslow for no money. What we were going to do to Zaslow that caused corporate problems is the idea that in 2025, you can't exactly turn somebody, who is an employee into the equivalent of an indentured servant.
But why? I'm an adult. I'm not 14.
He agreed to the terms.
There are labor laws, though. I don't know, man. Don't ask me how it is that corporate things get in the way of every fun thing I try to do.
Can I ask you who got the $700 steak? Can I ask you that?
Your dog. Who ate it?
A friend of mine. No, I didn't eat it. I gave it to a friend of mine. Yes. You just wanted to know that?
Well, I mean, we all wanted to know who got the $700 steak.
Would you have swung by his house if he still had it in the fridge after the show today?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah.
Not true in any way. Yes, my tooth, though, he says. What is going on with your tooth? What is the story of your tooth that you're saying? He's already saying, I'm not going to make it to the end of the show.
See, yeah.
I think I'm going to have to leave early. I've got an emergency.
Yeah, it is. It's shooting up all sides of my head, Dan. It hurts. I don't know. It's a classic toothache. A toothache is an underrated pain, is it not? I mean, I was thinking about this since yesterday, since I got the toothache, about some underrated pains. I actually have a top 5 here.
Hold on. We're not understanding the premise, though. Underrated pain means that it is a pain that is good?
No, it's bad. I don't think you think about a toothache until you have a toothache, and then you realize just how bad it is.
Okay, gotcha. So it's not like, ooh, this hurts, but it kind of feels good. It's like, this feels bad, but I didn't know how bad it would feel until I had it.
Right. You break a rib, you know it's going to hurt.
Right.
You think about it, you know it's going to hurt. With a toothache, it's something you never think about until you have it, and then when you have it, you realize, wow, this is the worst pain ever.
Yeah, but if you said that's a very underrated movie, that means, like, it's a great movie and people don't talk about it enough.
This is a great pain that people don't talk about enough, yeah.
But a great pain meaning a bad pain, not a great pain meaning a good pain, right? We're confused by what your premise is.
I think when you ask people what's the most pain you've ever been in, no one's going to say toothache. But if you ask someone who has a toothache, most pain you ever been in, they'll tell you it's a toothache.
Okay.
You don't know unless you're in it.
Okay, all understood and well put, but I still think our game is flawed because top 5 most underrated pains makes me feel like it's a pain someone would enjoy. You're saying it's not a pain.
These are pains that people don't talk, enough about.
Is there a pain that someone enjoys? What's a pain that someone enjoys?
There's a lot of pleasure pain people. Yes. Are you saying that these are top 5 pains that we don't talk about enough? That's a totally different list. It's not underrated.
It's my list.
I know, but I'm asking you what we're calling it for the clarity of the audience.
Underrated pains.
Everyone's confused on this, Stu. I'm right there with you.
This is
I'm
not
locked in. I know exactly what you're saying.
Thank you.
Top 5 pains people forget about.
It can't be
Top 5 pains that people don't think about unless they're going through them.
Okay.
Is that better?
The mouthful, but
it is. It's wordy, but Dan's making me change the name of my list.
Well, because I think it's confusing. You confuse the people we're doing the show with, so I'm
Chris is
assuming
with
you're
me.
confusing
He's
the audience.
in.
I know that he's with
Locked
you,
in.
but that is not the ally you want.
That's all I got.
Old heavy tongue.
Locked in.
Look, that's a new podcast. Toothache and heavy tongue. That you and him. Go ahead. Feel free to do a little demo. You and him right here. Because I think Stugotz is going to be slurring by the end of the show. I saw him popping the meds.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't do this healthy. What he does is he keeps taking pills thinking, when is that going to make the pain stop? He's not allowing for any of it to get into the bloodstream.
I took 4 Advil. I took a Tylenol. I had 2 pieces of bacon and a couple of gummies.
Well, this is the thing. Okay, let's cover this for a second. Let me explain to you how this.
It's 4:20, Dano.
Let me explain to you the hot breath that greeted my right ear this morning. I'm writing down some notes. I'm busy preparing for the show. And I hear and feel and smell something greasy appear next to me. It smells like bacon.
Yeah.
It has bacon in its hand. And it is telling me, while chewing, what a terrible toothache it has.
The worst.
While chewing, I smell the bacon and feel the bacon on my ear while he tells me I think I have to leave early because I've got a toothache, and the toothache is a terribly underrated pain.
You noticed I was chewing on the left side, right? Left side only. No pressure on
What
the
you
right
do when you
side
have a
right now.
toothache, you chew on the opposite side.
I didn't notice because I wasn't looking at you. I was trying not to look into the breath that was hot and greasy and of bacon. So I didn't.
Understood.
I didn't want my
Bacon breath could be worse.
I didn't want my eyebrows singed. I will tell the people again that Stugotz is the only person in this particular establishment who walks around with his breakfast in the morning. No napkins, no nothing, just bacon in his hand, grease going down. Never seen a napkin. It's just eating bacon. And whether it's his left side or his right, he was telling me about his toothache while chewing bacon. So put it on the poll at Batard Show. Do you really have a toothache if you're chewing bacon while telling someone about it?
It's not very believable. I understand.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, it's incriminating circumstantial evidence that would suggest that you're guilty of lying.
But this is where we get back into why Dan's confused about underrated pain. Because if the toothache hurts so good, right, you want the pain, you chew where you have the toothache and you're forcing more of the pain. And that's where you could think underrated pain, a pain you want to have, the toothache. But what you're saying is that this is a pain that you don't want to have, that you don't think about enough. I can understand why we had to get into the nitty gritty on this.
If I were to ask you right now, most painful experiences you've ever had, you would probably not say a toothache, right? Unless you had an actual toothache.
I had gout once. That's the most painful I've
Gout's
ever had.
bad. Yeah.
Is that properly rated?
Yeah, I would never say it's underrated.
Yeah.
And people would understand my description of
You're
it,
right.
too.
Yeah.
I don't believe that there is a funnier word that you could have had in the middle of that sentence than I had gout once.
It's the rich man's disease.
Gout, I don't. You're going to have to tell me more about gout because I only know it as a funny word, and so I need more information on this for me and the audience. At Batard Show, do you know the symptoms of gout? I will say that gout is a funny word to me, at least in part, because I only associate it kind of like shingles, 80-year-old and plus.
It's a king's disease.
Well done.
Put it on the poll at Batard Show. Is gout the king's disease? Why is it the king's disease?
Because it originated from kings back hundreds of years ago. They would get all the fine meats and they would eat so much of it. And when you eat too much of that kind of food, of meat, the red meat, it causes gout. So it was known as the king's disease. So I was eating like a king that week.
It's also associated with alcohol consumption.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking up different, like, interesting, odd, like, syndromes you can get. Because, like, I'm just thinking, are there any other ones that are in this, you know? That
funny diseases, gout, shingles, like stuff that you can make fun of because it's terrible.
Scurvy.
It's painful. Yeah, it's awful. But you're not crossing the line into mocking someone who's got family that has been lost
Scabies.
to gout.
Like, I wouldn't want to have alien hand syndrome, which is a condition where one hand acts independently of a person's conscious control.
Happens to my baby all the time. She's got hands all over the place. Doesn't know how to control her hands.
Exploding head syndrome, a sleep disorder where a person experiences a loud, sudden noise in their head upon falling asleep or waking up.
And then the head explodes.
People don't die from gout, right?
I don't think so.
so.
I doubt it. I wanted to hate it.
That's pretty good, man. Has anyone ever
Do not
died from
encourage
gout?
him, okay? Do not encourage him. Do you realize that Friday night, 4 minutes into the broadcast, I had to tell him to stop talking like a broadcaster? Do not encourage him with the puns, Chris Cody. Chris, listen to me. Lock in here, okay? Right here. If you encourage the bad puns, there will be more bad puns. We have not been able, lock in with me here, Chris.
My bad.
We have not been able to discourage the bad puns, even while tasering, punishing, and generally hating the bad puns.
Because it hurts so good.
Punishing him.
What?
Puns.
Yeah.
Stay with me, okay?
Lock in.
I'm back, sorry.
On Friday night, stakes for his life, Jonathan Zaslow won concert tickets and won being able to work here during the playoffs and evidently have a little bit of his run of the place because I thought he was going to be in this room and now he's that room. And so we've got a chemical agent here now that is going to be problematic over the next few months because he won a giant bet. my Wi-Fi wasn't working. That was embarrassing. My Wi-Fi generally all weekend wasn't working, which made games more difficult to come by. I want to ask you guys at Le Batard Show, are you proper bleeped if your Wi-Fi doesn't work for a whole weekend? ? I have come to rely on things more than I thought I had the most gangster of Wi-Fis. I thought there wasn't an ability for me not to have the best Wi-Fi on the beach, but my Wi-Fi wasn't working, and I was totally nuked on my weekend in terms of itchiness because I couldn't get to things that I could normally get to.
Is that one of the packages when you're choosing? They have like 3-4 different Wi-Fi packages. Silver, gold, gangster.
Yes.
Yeah, best on the beach.
Yes, I went to the top of the food chain. It's like, what's the most I can give to have the best? What do I have to do to have the proper cables, wires, everything, so I don't have to rely on things that my neighbors are relying on?
I got bad news. I think you got to leave the beach, Dan. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to say anything, but I know some people live on the beach too, and they're not happy with the service provider over there. You guys have your own rules over there, by the way. Us on the mainland, we get normal stuff. We get, people that, the fiber optic cables and whatnot. You guys over there, they're treating you guys differently. I don't know. You should look into that.
I want to stop and celebrate for a second because I think we just had a sentence said on this show that's never been said in the history of mankind, putting a group of words together, which is, I thought I had the most gangster of Wi-Fi.
What does that mean?
Congratulations, Dan. You've done something no one's ever done, which is said that sentence.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Jeremy. But I did think that I had good Wi-Fi, and evidently I did not. But so the unfortunate part about this is I was setting this whole thing up. The whole thing was something that I was trying to do in order to have Zaslow squirm around Michael Wilbon and Brian Windhorst.
We're up 10-0. Right out the gate.
Because he has said bad things about Windhorst and Wilbon, and he's climbing at ESPN. I wanted to make Zaslow sit. I was trying to get a hold of Windhorst. Wilbon shows up, and I see the fear sweep across Zaslow's face.
Yeah.
And on top of it, Dan's Wi-Fi is gangster Wi-Fi. Craps out. And it's just me and Wilbon
what do you
on
do there?
the screen. I've never spoken a word to him in my life.
Yeah.
And I've said terrible things about him.
He has ridiculed him on air for 10 years like this. So now listen to but I couldn't even be there to enjoy the awkward of it, Stugotz, because my Wi-Fi was balky.
Your gangster Wi-Fi.
My gangster Wi-Fi was balky. And so I leave Zaslow and Wilbon alone. I can't even hear. I'm trying to hit Zaslow in the third quarter with the discomfort of, here's Wilbon, here's Joy Taylor, here's Windhorst.
Here's the Heat blowing their third quarter.
Correct. Correct. I didn't plan for that. That part worked out fine. My Wi-Fi didn't screw that up.
Do you think Wilbon knows that he was a Tool of the Week Hall of Famer in my studio? He's one of the only 4 inductees.
Wow.
It's a banner of him in my studio. It's $7.90 the ticket.
He should be honored.
Did he call you Johnny? He calls Dan Danny. He has this thing. He likes putting a
Danny.
Y at the end of people's name.
I love that.
Guys, you let Zaslow skip past with he was in a closed room. I had disappeared talking to someone he's ripped for 10 years, and you guys didn't just hear him say, Tool of the Week Hall of Famer.
I mean, if you're from this market, you know.
No,
it.
but so I
1 of 4.
But I was about to present Wilbon with that information in front of Zaslow. Correct, and my Wi-Fi didn't allow it, and so but I'm not talking about when I say the whole scramble was for that. It wasn't, the whole reason I wanted to do all of that is because I simply wanted Zaslow in a position where he had to answer to 2 elders about terrible things he's been saying for 10 years.
Aren't you intrigued, though? Don't you want to know the other 3 tools of the week? I mean,
I know one of
Jimmy
them.
Cephalo has to be in there.
I just mentioned 2 of them. Wilbon and Windhorst are in. We've already covered the other 2.
Windy too? Yeah.
He was inaugural inductee. Yeah.
Are we going back as far? Was Heath Bell in this Tool Hall of Fame?
was.
Yes.
Yep, I remember this Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Yep.
Deserving.
Yep.
Tool of the week. And who was the fourth? I forgot.
Jeffrey Loria.
Of course. No Seffi, huh?
OLI.
Yeah.
You guys
Now, again, it's not me putting them in. It was our listeners. They put them in.
time now for top 5 Stugotz underrated paints.
We're back to that, huh?
OLI?
Yeah, I've won. Stepping on a Lego.
So is that an underrated pain or is that overrated?
It's an underrated pain. You never think about it as an actual pain until you step on an
I
actual
feel like
Lego.
each one of these is going to confuse me a little bit.
Yeah. You were with me 5 minutes ago.
Locked in.
Number
Yeah.
5.
2 things.
Yeah. Okay.
I need you, man.
Yeah. Underrated
Locked in.
pain. Number 4.
A paper cut.
Underrated
With
pain.
ya.
Okay, what? So that's a pain. You know, we joke about paper cuts. Nobody likes them though. They're bad.
They're rated completely properly.
Most people don't know, though.
My list.
What do you mean they don't know?
A lot of people have not had a paper cut.
Yep.
Put it on the poll.
True. That
More
can't be
people
true.
have not. I think it's like less
Agreed.
than 50% of people have had a paper cut.
All right, hold on. At Batard show. That's a good question. Hold on. Everyone slow down.
By the way, no one's ever died from gout.
Okay, so that's the line. I think we can all agree. Wherever it is that cancel culture resides, I think we can all agree. The line is we can make fun of the disease if no one has ever died from it.
It leads to things, though.
I'm just reading, yes. It
But
has-
no direct deaths
Not the
from gout.
direct
Yes.
reason for death, but it has
The
increased
king's
risk of
disease.
mortality.
The king's disease. Gout.
That's right.
It has to be an old man's disease, does it not?
I wasn't old.
Well, you
Put
are
it
old.
at Batard show. Have more people had paper cuts than haven't had paper cuts?
Huh.
At Batard show. Because I think what he's saying that the grand majority of humans have never touched paper in a way that has cut them, which doesn't make sense to me.
But we've all had one?
Anyone who's touched, I feel like if I say everyone who's touched paper, more than half of those people have had a paper cut. Yes. If you've ever touched paper, you've had a paper cut.
Tony seems like a guy that's never had a paper cut.
No, I've had a paper cut. So I had a paper ruler. You know how sometimes they send you, if you're going to put like a TV up or whatever, they send you like a paper ruler so you can put it on the wall, measure it or whatever. It was furled together, and then I went to unfurl it, and my finger got stuck on the side, and it like ripped.
That's not a paper cut.
That's bad.
No, it is an absolute paper cut. It cut me like almost half my finger cut off. It was crazy.
All right, so hold on. But what you're alleging, Chris Cody, what you're trying to say is that everyone has had a paper cut if you've been around paper, but you're saying half the world hasn't held paper, correct?
No, I think a lot of people have had plenty of experiences holding paper and just haven't had a paper cut. I think it's rare to get a paper cut. It's not like every 10 pieces of paper I touch, I'm getting a paper cut. I've had one, but I think I've had one in my entire life, and I've touched a lot of paper. Okay, I got some strong paper bona fides.
All right, then the question is, at Batard show, I'm going to make it less wordy. Have you ever had a paper cut?
There it is. I
Yes
like
or
that.
no? Number 2, toothache.
A stub at number 3, by the way. A
Sorry.
stubbing of the toe.
Man, I want to be locked in with you.
But underrated.
But this
I
is
don't
such
understand.
a properly rated.
Is
Yeah.
it really?
All right,
Yeah,
so
man.
wait.
Really?
Everyone knows these things hurt so bad.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Stugotz, what is this list? It's top 5.
It's top 5 things that you don't know are really painful until you're experiencing them.
Okay.
It's getting wordier.
All right, number 2.
Funny bone. Nothing funny about it. Seriously.
You know what? I think that's the first
Yes.
decent one on your list.
People
Thank
think
you.
it's funny.
Thank you.
Not funny.
There's nothing funny about it.
Huh.
And number 1.
David Sampson. Pain.
An underrated pain.
Oh, he's underrated, yeah.
A pain.
You don't know just how painful David Sampson can be until you're dealing with David Sampson. He's a pain in the ass. I mean, he's calling me on weekends. Leave me alone. I mean, Jesus.
Folks, listen up. They're here and they're hot. Get ready because Jimmy John's is turning up the heat. After years of perfecting the cold sandwich, toasted sandwiches are finally here. Try one of their 3 all-new toasted creations. The Toasted Chicken Bacon Ranch, all-natural chicken, creamy home-style ranch, applewood smoked bacon, melted provolone, fresh veggies, all on a perfectly toasted French bread. Good God, does that sound delicious. Or the Toasted Roast Beef and Cheddar, premium roast beef, melty cheddar, creamy horseradish sauce, crispy fried onions, fresh veggies, golden toasted French bread. It just keeps getting better. And the toasted ultimate Italian, salami, capicola, smoked ham, applewood smoked bacon, melted provolone, shredded Parmesan, fresh veggies toasted to perfection. Or take your favorite Jimmy John classics like the number 9 Italian Nightclub or the number 11 Country Club and get them toasted. Order now at jimmyjohns.com, on the Jimmy John's app, or stop by your local Jimmy John's today.
It's the 50th anniversary of Miller Lite, and for many of those 50 years, they've been partnered up with the Dan Le Batard Show, back to our terrestrial radio days, all throughout national syndication, Pirate Face, where we are now. So grateful for that partnership because you guys know, we believe it. It's a beer for people who love their beer, and hopefully our audience loves their beer enough to always trust Miller Lite, like I do. From game night parties with friends, or a special anniversary, like 20 years together on air, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. It's Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. Simply put, it just hits different because of those simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and the iconic golden color. Oh, and that white can. Do I love that white can? 96 calories and just 3.2 grams of carbs per 12 ounces. Miller time is always a good time. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.